and we're going to get a lot more snow.
Yeah, it's still coming down. We're at least at 5 inches, and it's crazy to think. I was doing we talked a lot about this last couple days, the liquid to snowfall ratio and how weird it is to see such powdery snow here in the Carolinas. I calculated last hour based on what's fallen and what I measured. We're at about 17 to 1. So if you take the 0.29, that's it. Think about rainfall. Less than a third of an inch of liquid has fallen, but it's accounted for 5 inches of snow so far in Charlotte. And look at our cameras. This is our WCNC tower cam. We have it aimed at Billy Graham Parkway. Yes, that is a double divided road there. You can't see it. And look at the flakes.
Wow.
I mean, huge snowflakes. In meteorology, we call snowflakes dendrites. And this is an incredible dendritic growth area in the atmosphere where it's super cold, super moist. All the things, like if you were to have a textbook example of how to produce really good snowfall, this would be what's over us right now. It is absolutely coming down out there. And it's, in some rates, it's been like an inch an hour. And so it's not taking long. Even in Kannapolis, you can see the camera. When you can see the flakes that clearly on these cameras, it's big. And the bigger the flakes, the easier it accumulates because there's so much air. That's why snow fluffs up. If you think about it, it's like a bunch of, star shapes. And when they all stack up, it leaves a lot of gaps between them. They don't stack flat. They stack in odd shapes. So the temperatures, this is why the roads are horrible. It's not just the snow. The temperatures are like 19, 20 degrees. So nothing's melting. Nothing's really working. Even salt. Salt loses its effectiveness below about 22, 23 degrees. When you're in the teens, calcium chloride is one of those things that would help, but it's certainly creating a lot of problems because the road crews are going to have to scrape the roads first, which is plow them, and then apply salt. You can't really do the salt and then scrape it because you're just going to push it all off the road. So right now, what I've seen from a lot of DOT trucks, I've been watching the cameras and on my drive-in, there is some plowing, and it's impressive plowing because I don't normally see plow trucks here where there's actually a big plume of snow shooting off to the side. That's like something you see out of the Midwest. Feel like readings were only in the single digits. The snow, it's still continuing. There's a big gap between us and the coast where there's another big plume of moisture. That's the coastal low. Now, what I do think is going to happen as we get later this evening, the snowfall rates right now are about as high as they've been all day because you can actually see kind of this band. I'm actually going to pause it here and telestrate on here, but you see this blue band right here. This is pivoting through right now, and so that's why we're seeing this really, really heavy snowfall moving through currently. Now, the back edge isn't too far away, but it's going to take a while to get here. As the snow begins to slowly taper off and get lighter and lighter into tonight, the winds will pick up. So even though the snowfall rates will go down, the fact that the wind's going to be blowing the snow that's on the side of the road back into the road, that's going to create issues and whiteout conditions at times. We often think about, hey, it's slippery out there, I can't get traction. You've got a big visibility component to this as well. It's really hard to see in front of you, and it's hard to see the road because it's completely covered in snow. I know when I was coming in, I couldn't tell what lane I was in. I was just trying to keep it between the curbs. And you don't know if you're in the turn lane, the left lane, the right lane. So that's going to be an ongoing issue this evening. So hour by hour forecast. These are the temperatures in white. The blue are the wind chills. And look at the snow. Above 80 to 90% snowfall through 8 p.m., which then shows us the futurecast and kind of shows you, well, when's the snow going to end? Well, probably for areas around Charlotte South, it might not be till after midnight. So if there's one change, it's fluffed up the snow rates are heavier, and if it lasts longer, I think we could get double-digit snow out of this, Vanessa. I think 10 inches plus in some areas, certainly possible. I already know we're going to have the biggest snowstorm since 2004, which is really remarkable, 11.6 inches back at the end of February. I remember that storm vividly. It was a 2-day storm. We actually got a couple more inches the following day. I think the storm total was like 14 or 15 inches. But from a single calendar day total, this is going to be one of our bigger all-time storms because of the fluffiness. And, we talked a lot about the temperatures. Tonight we dropped to 10. I don't think we'll get above freezing tomorrow. Snowpack on the ground, going to be hard to do. And then Monday morning, that's a 6, okay? If you can't see that on your screen. 6 degrees. One of the things about snowpack, and we're going to have at least 5 to 10 inches at night when the sky's clear, you get really cold temperatures because during the day, the sun reflects about 90% of the sunlight back up. If you've ever heard of snow blindness, That's why it's so bright. You know, wear sunglasses. So there's no heating. And at night, that creates really cold temperatures. So I would expect we're going to have a record-breaking snowstorm. The snowfall record for day was only 9/10 of an inch, by the way. So we shattered that. And we're probably going to have record-breaking temperatures. And so this is going to be a combination we haven't seen a lot of in the last 2 decades around here. So a lot of folks that are new, probably not familiar with this. We've had a week of cold temperatures already. I'm really concerned about pipes and that type of thing, water mains, as we get into early next week because of how cold it's going to be. There's one nice thing about snow. It's a great insulator. So now that snow is on the ground, it can insulate the ground from the really brutal cold, but not your house.
And I'm thinking about as well, you know, we were talking about this morning, Brad, you know, in our house, how we've done ski trips before.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've gone to Maine and we've gone to Vermont. And, you know, one time we went to Maine, we were there during a nor'easter.
Yeah.
And had to like shovel the car out and all that. And we were kind of getting that type of vibe.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes in the South, when we're like, oh, we're going to have a snow day, the rest of the country laughs at us because it's like an inch and we shut down. But I'm like, this is a legit snowstorm.
Yeah, I've seen the comments on my Facebook, from Northerners, like, oh, what's the big deal? This is a big deal anywhere, okay?
Yeah.
You get this type of snowfall rates on the road surface, it doesn't matter. I mean, salt doesn't work at certain temperatures, whether it's in Charlotte, North Carolina, or Chicago, Illinois, okay? It's like the physics and chemistry of this don't change because of your latitude, right? It's the same thing. And your car traction doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're from north or south. It is not going to get traction, especially on hills, because the comments I was getting was on the Independence Boulevard hill. Once you stop, which is like the dreaded thing, if you've ever lived up north, you don't want to lose your momentum going up a hill.
Yep.
Because once you stop, there's no way you're getting up the hill. And so what happens when cars in front of you slow down, it's not even your fault. They slow down, you've got to stop, and now you can't get traction to go uphill. I've been skiing in Colorado. You go through the Eisenhower Tunnel there on 70 west of Denver. Same thing happens there. They'll get cars have chains in four-wheel drive, but if a car stops in front of them and it's snowing heavily, the cars have trouble getting going again because of that. So just slowing down. That's why sometimes it's not even how great a driver you are, what kind of car you have. It's if other traffic slows down, then that has big issues on you. So I've seen every local police department I follow on X and Instagram. They're all saying the same thing. Stay at home. Do not go out. They are having so many calls for people, and it's so cold out there, Vanessa. If you get stuck outside right now, you got to be ready for below zero wind chills and temperatures around 19. So I don't think many people have that kind of supplies in their car. I joked earlier, you got to plan like you're not going to the grocery store. You got to plan like you're going on like an 8-hour trip. Like you got to pack all the stuff in your car because you don't know. If you get stuck somewhere, you might be there a while.
Well, and the other thing I'll point out too, you know, as a Southerner, I learned this actually from somebody who grew up in Ohio. Just now that we're dealing with the type of snowfall that we are, make sure that your tailpipe is clear.
Yes.
If you're stuck there and your car is on, you don't want that exhaust backing up inside your vehicle.
Yeah, that carbon monoxide poisoning, that's like when we get, this would happen up north, as you mentioned, you get stuck in like the snow belts. There would be these bands come in and the traffic would be standstill. And people would be sitting in their car running it. They'd have to get out every hour and clear out the tailpipe to make sure you don't get, and sometimes even leaving the window cracked in the car so there's some airflow.
Yeah.
And I would also say in your home, if you have a crawl space with a furnace, you're going to see pipes that come out that are the intake for air for the combustion of a gas furnace and then the exhaling. Make sure those are not clogged with snow either. They're usually pretty high off the ground, but those can get clogged with snow or ice. And so make sure even at home you're practicing safe things, because when it gets cold like this, people are looking for different ways to stay warm. They might be using an extra heater, a space heater, kerosene heater. Please be careful. Fires and carbon monoxide issues become a big problem when we get winter storms like this because people are trying to stay warm.
Yeah. Now, at the risk of making this sound like a sports report, I want to mention the Hornets won, by the way. They had a game today. The Hornets pulled it out. It was a great game. 111 to 106. The reason I'm bringing this up, they moved the game earlier. San Antonio Spurs play a game tomorrow in San Antonio.
They go. I think it's against Orlando, right?
Yes, but it's in. I think it's
back home. Okay.
Yeah, it's back home for them. There's a ground stop right now at Charlotte Douglas. The misery map, by the way, Jeb, I put that up on Scan PC. If you want to see the misery map, Charlotte is at the top for airlines or airports by origin and destination flight. You could see cancellations and delays.
Yeah.
Are they getting out? Are the Spurs leaving?
It's going to be tough. You know, I posted a great infographic because I got so many questions about flights, right? And I get those all the time. And sometimes as a meteorologist, it's a little frustrating because, like, the weather does impact flights, but it's not all the other things that happen at the airport that often cause issues. So if you think about the airport function, right, we just think, okay, the snow is slowing down. But think about this. The people that work at the airport, can they get to the airport? How are they getting there? Like the ground crews, the stewardesses, the stewards, the pilots, the luggage hand. Are they able to get to the airport? If they can't, okay, there's going to be delays. Then think of Charlotte Douglas. They have great snow removal. I've seen it. It's pretty impressive, but it takes a while to clean off runways and clean off planes and de-ice it. This is just like, everything, you add these things up, Vanessa, and it ends up slowing planes down to the point where once a plane is delayed over so many hours, it's like, well, then it's not making a connection, and then that connection trickles down. So it's this like feedback loop of all these little things you don't think about that end up impacting the airport. So getting out, I'm sure they have a charter, which might help them because they have their own crews and stuff that are probably already here. They don't have to wait for a crew to come in, but I'd be nervous. I think that's why they moved the game up. It wasn't so much for people going to the game, it was give them time to get out so that they could get home. Because let's be honest, the roads are just as bad now as they were when the game started, so it really wasn't about that. And CATS has suspended service, so that throws a whole nother loop for people that are trying to use that service to get to the game or home from the game now.
Yeah, we were talking about that in our household. We always get interested about, the sporting events and how sometimes they try to navigate around, unexpected weather, and we're like, why did they move the game sooner? But yeah, to your point, I think it is so that San Antonio can get out back to San Antonio. Yeah,
basketball is one of those things. I feel like they continuously try to have games because usually the teams stay in the downtown, uptown area, and they can get there. It's really the fans are the ones that are kind of left out because they're the ones that struggle to get in and out of games. But the players are usually like pretty nearby. I don't even know where the Spurs stayed, but they could have walked over to the Spectrum Center if they really had to today.
All right. Well, Brad, we know you're going to be here for the next several hours, so stop on by when you wish. I know you have another report right at 3.
Yeah, we'll be at the top of the hours. Okay. We're doing updates, and right now it's just like we love to get totals. So I posted earlier about the way to do it. Try to measure in 3 spots in your yard that are undetectable or undisturbed and average them out. It's the best way. So I'm enjoy getting the totals because it really gives us a sense of how much is falling where. And Vanessa, it seems like north of Charlotte, like the Cornelius, Davidson, Huntersville, Salisbury, Concord, up in that area is approaching like 8 or 9 inches right now.
Well, I know because you asked for it. I try to deliver. Jeb, Play Deck 2, I just put in a picture from Concord. This comes from Boyd and Tammy Grayson, literally within the last, I'd say half hour they sent this. What is that, 7 inches?
Looks like it.
I'm looking because they literally put the ruler, they put the tape measure in the snow, just like you said.
7,
and it looks like they've got 7 there. So
that's impressive.
Yeah.
I was sweating out. I was like, man, we just got to get to 4 inches for me to verify. Now I'm like, man, we might bust the top end of this. But we did update the forecast to 5 to 8 this morning, and like I said, someone's going to get double digits. This is definitely going to be a foot somewhere because of the fluffiness of the snow. It's just that's going to happen. So I'm really curious where that band sets up. Like summer thunderstorms, some folks are going to get a whole bunch and some will get less. But the good news in this, I think everybody who likes snow, everybody's getting something.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like anyone's getting missed. There'll be complaints like I only got 3 inches, but you're not going to complain because you didn't see anything. Because I'm even looking like you would love this being from down in Florida and working down there. It's snowing in the Panhandle, and they might get a half an inch to an inch in Tampa.
Well, that's so wild to me because, and I've said this before, so some people might know this. I lived in Tampa for many years.
Yeah.
I was there for 6 years. I'm originally from, Tallahassee.
Yeah, and it's snowing there right now.
When I was a little kid, I remember flurries, but that was an undetermined number of decades ago.
It light snow.
Not to be mentioned.
At Tallahassee Airport.
It was a while
now.
ago.
Yeah, there's light snow falling at Tallahassee, and just up the road they got Mariana Airport, and then Albany, Georgia. It's snowing, so it's snowing down there.
Yeah.
And tonight, when the cold air spills over the northeastern Gulf, they're going to get ocean effect snow in Tampa Bay. So there's going to be some snow that forms from the water because it's warm, and this is Arctic air.
Yeah.
So, and that band sets up on, it looks like the north side of Tampa. So kind of right near downtown Tampa, the north side, not the St. Petersburg side, but more like north towards Tampa.
Yeah.
And I think a half an inch or inch is possible.
That is bonkers
Which is
to me.
crazy.
That is so wild. Yeah.
I'm surprised they don't have some kind of winter weather advisory already down there.
They're probably just stunned. They don't
Yeah.
even know what to do.
Yeah, and just to give you some updates, I just got some new totals in. This is not too far from the airport, so this gives me some ideas. Mount Holly, Huntersville area, Gaston County, 7 inches, 8 inches in Concord, 9 inches in China Grove.
Wow.
And now 7 inches up in Statesville. So that should give you a good idea, and it's still snowing.
That's just so wild.
Yeah. What a crazy day. It's going to be one of those things, like for a lot of folks, this will be the biggest snow they've ever seen, and memorable for a lot of kids out there right now. So I love seeing the pictures of parents out there with their kids. These are memories, if you're from this area, you'll probably have forever, because you just don't get this very often.
I was taking lots of photos. I've shared this on social media, but we recently had to put our nearly 17-year-old dog Mojo down. He's a huge snow lover. It didn't matter if it was like a sheet of ice on the grass or the big fluffy stuff. He'd be rolling in it. And unfortunately, this past Thursday of right before the ice storm, we had to put him down, and we were like, oh, he's missing it. And then a lot of folks were commenting like, you know what, he probably sent this to bother your other dog. But we've got a new puppy, Foster, who's been hanging out at our house with our previous dog, Rocky, who's still with us, obviously. But we were taking lots of photos because, like to your point, this is like memory stuff. Like I'm going to remember this.
This is my dog's first snow. My dog Drum, he's a rescue, and we've had him for 4 years now. So this has been the first snow. And when he went out this morning, he was scared to walk on it. So he hugged the house and went all the way behind the porch and went to the bathroom. And he finally went out there, but he still was like kind of puzzled by what was falling, and he didn't like it a lot.
Yeah.
So I think if his buddy, his next door neighbor, we got a Labradoodle down the street, so I think they get out there and start running around, and I think he'll enjoy it more.
Yeah. That's what we noticed, because last weekend Rocky was not a fan. That was his first winter weather without his brother. He was not having it. He had a puppy playmate though, and Rocky is, we think, we did a wisdom panel where they guessed the age.
Yeah.
He's probably around 11, 12.
Wow.
He's acting like a young pup. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, get Drum with some buddies. Maybe they'll like spur each other on.
No, for sure. I think that'll help. So so stay tuned. We'll have another update at the top of the hour in WCNC, and I'll be back over here probably in about 30 minutes or so.
Okay, fantastic.